The wedding planner's expression was apologetic as she guided me toward the kitchen entrance. "Your sister feels it would be best if you stayed out of sight during the ceremony," Amanda said carefully. "She wants everything perfect for photos." I glanced at my simple gray dress, elegant but unremarkable. Exactly what my sister Charlotte had requested. "Please don't draw attention to yourself." "The kitchen," I repeated. "Just during the ceremony and family photos. You can join the reception afterward." Charlotte thinks the wedding party photos should be cohesive. Cohesive. Code for you don't fit the aesthetic. Charlotte's fiancé Preston came from old money, the kind that appeared in society pages. Their wedding at his family's estate had 300 guests, a live orchestra and enough flowers to bankrupt a small country. I was the sister who worked as a government liaison, according to Charlotte's vague explanations. She'd never asked for details. When I tried to explain my actual role, she'd interrupted, "That's nice, Vera. Now about the bridesmaid dresses, you understand why we can't include you, right? We need symmetry." "I'll wait in the kitchen," I said quietly. What Amanda didn't know was that my phone had been buzzing with urgent messages from Royal Protection officers coordinating Princess Catherine's arrival. The same princess who'd specifically requested my presence. I checked my phone. The security detail would arrive in 12 minutes. I'd met Princess Catherine 3 years ago during a diplomatic mission. I was 31, serving as Senior Cultural Ambassador for the State Department, coordinating international relations, cultural exchanges and diplomatic protocols. The princess and I had connected immediately over shared interests in educational reform and women's leadership. Over 3 years, we'd worked on 4 major international programs and developed a genuine friendship despite protocol barriers. When she'd heard about Charlotte's wedding, she'd asked to attend. "I'd love to see you in a personal setting." I'd mentioned it to Charlotte once. Princess Catherine might attend. "She's a friend from work." Charlotte had laughed. "Right. Sure. A princess is coming because she's friends with my government liaison sister." He thought I was joking. The kitchen bustled with catering staff. I found a corner and checked messages. "Royal Protection Officer Davies, princess arriving in 8 minutes. She's confirmed she wants to greet you before the ceremony. Where should we direct her?" I typed, "I'm in the kitchen. The bride requested I stay out of sight." The reply came quickly, "The princess has been briefed. She's not pleased." Catherine had strong opinions about protocol and respect. This would offend both. The ceremony music started, strings playing softly through the kitchen doors. Charlotte was getting her perfect society wedding. Without me. The head caterer approached nervously. "Ma'am? Security personnel are asking for you. They say there's a royal guest." The kitchen doors opened. 4 protection officers entered, followed by Princess Catherine in a pale blue dress and matching hat. "Vera," she said warmly, embracing me. "They told me you were in the kitchen. I assumed there was some mistake." The catering staff froze, staring. "Your Royal Highness," I said with a curtsy. "Welcome. I apologize for the unusual location." "Don't apologize. Explain. Why is the Senior Cultural Ambassador hiding in a kitchen during her own sister's wedding?" The head caterer squeaked. "My sister felt it would be better if I stayed out of sight during the ceremony," I said carefully. "She wanted cohesive family photos." Catherine's expression hardened. "She wanted you hidden. She didn't know you were coming. I mentioned it once. She thought I was joking. Because she doesn't know what you actually do." Catherine turned to her officer. "Davies, where is the ceremony?" "The garden terrace, ma'am. Currently in progress." "Excellent." Catherine looked at me. "Shall we make an entrance?" "Your Highness." "Vera, you've coordinated 3 state visits and negotiated 2 international treaties. You've never asked for anything. Today let me do this." She extended her arm. "Shall we?" The garden was spectacular. White chairs, flowers everywhere, Preston's family crest displayed prominently. The officiant was mid-sentence about love and commitment. 300 heads turned as the Royal Protection officers appeared. Then Princess Catherine walked through, her arm linked with mine. The officiant's voice died. Charlotte's face went white. Preston's mother looked faint. We walked down the center aisle. Me in gray, Catherine in royal splendor, for officers flanking us. Cameras appeared everywhere. Guests gasped. Catherine's voice carried clearly. I apologize for the interruption. I'm Princess Catherine, here to support my dear friend Vera, who has been instrumental in diplomatic relations between our nations. I was told she'd be at this ceremony. Imagine my surprise to find her hidden in the kitchen. We reached the front row, reserved for Preston's family. Catherine paused at the empty seats. Davies, please arrange seating for myself and Ambassador Chin. Ambassador Chin. My full diplomatic title. Chairs materialized. We sat. The wedding party stared in frozen shock. Please, Catherine said to the officiant. Continue. The ceremony resumed in barely controlled chaos. Charlotte's voice shook through her vows. Preston kept glancing at us with dawning horror. His parents calculated social implications. When it concluded, Charlotte approached first, panic in her eyes. Your Royal Highness, we had no idea. That your sister works with foreign heads of state? Catherine said pleasantly. Yes, I gathered. Otherwise she wouldn't have been hidden like embarrassing help. I didn't mean. Didn't you? Vera told you I might attend. You thought she was lying. I thought it was a joke. She's a government liaison. She never said she worked with royalty. She's the senior cultural ambassador. She negotiates international treaties. She advises on diplomatic protocol at the highest levels. She's coordinated visits for 3 heads of state. And you thought she was exaggerating? Preston appeared desperate. Your Highness, if we'd known. If you'd known, you would have treated her differently. But you should have treated her with respect regardless. She's your family. 300 guests pretended not to listen while hanging on every word. Phones captured everything. Charlotte was crying, makeup ruined. Vera, I'm so sorry. You never told me. I tried. Multiple times. You weren't interested. You just wanted me out of sight so I wouldn't embarrass you. Preston's mother appeared, society smile plastered on. Your Highness, if we'd known you were friends with Vera. You would have what? Treated her like family instead of someone to hide? Mrs. Ashford, we value competence over social performance. Your son married into a family with an internationally recognized diplomat. That's something to celebrate, not hide. The reception was pandemonium. Royal protection coordinated with venue security. Press at the gates had caught wind of the princess. Social media exploded with photos and videos of Catherine's entrance and pointed comments. Catherine and I sat at a hastily rearranged head table. Charlotte and Preston beside us, shell-shocked. I'm sorry, I said quietly. This wasn't how I wanted you to spend your afternoon. Are you joking? This is the most interesting event of my state visit. Defending my friend from family snobbery beats formal dinners any day. Charlotte appeared, mascara streaked. Vera, please. I need to talk. Privately. We stepped onto a terrace. Charlotte collapsed on a bench. My wedding is ruined. It's all over social media. Bride hides sister, princess crashes ceremony. I'm a laughingstock. You're upset about publicity, not about hiding me. Both. Vera, why didn't you make me understand what you do? I tried 3 years ago when I got the position. You said it sounded boring. I mentioned the princess visit 3 months ago. You laughed. I shared work details at Christmas. You interrupted to talk about Preston's proposal. Charlotte flinched. You didn't want to know, I continued. You wanted me simple, uncomplicated, not threatening. The boring sister who wouldn't overshadow your perfect wedding. I put you in the kitchen, she whispered. During your own sister's wedding. Yes. You did. I'm a terrible sister. You made cruel choices. But you can learn from them. Preston's parents are horrified. Not because they hurt you, because of the publicity. Everyone knows they dismissed someone who works with royalty. And you? Horrified because of publicity or because you hurt me? Both, she said, tears streaming. I'm ashamed of both. What kind of person puts their sister in a kitchen? Someone who values appearances over relationships. Someone who needs to decide what matters. Tell me how to fix this. You can't fix it today. The story is out. What you control is what happens next. Decide if you want a real relationship with me, not the version you invented. The real diplomat, ambassador, the person working at the highest levels. If you want that, you work for it. Ask questions. Respect my career like I've respected yours. Charlotte nodded. I want that. I swear. Then we start over. After your honeymoon. We'll have coffee and you can ask about my actual life. The reception continued with unexpected energy. Catherine graciously held court, every conversation circling back to my work, achievements and diplomatic role. She systematically ensured everyone understood exactly who I was. Preston's parents tried claiming they'd always known about my work. Catherine shut it down sweetly. How lovely. Then you must be so proud Vera was included in all the family photos today. The silence was deafening. By evening's end, international news ran the story. Princess crashes wedding to support diplomat friend hidden by family, trended everywhere. Charlotte's perfect society wedding became a cautionary tale. I drove Catherine to her hotel, protection detail following. Thank you, I said. For everything today. Don't thank me. That was immensely satisfying. You do so much behind the scenes that goes unrecognized. That's the job. It shouldn't mean your family dismisses you. There you've created real change. Educational programs helping thousands. Diplomatic frameworks used as models by other nations. You're brilliant. Charlotte didn't know. Because she didn't ask. She assumed. Today she learned a public lesson about the cost of assumptions. At the hotel, Catherine turned to me. Will you forgive her? Eventually. She's my sister. But things need to change. They will. After today, everyone knows who you are. She can't hide you anymore. 3 weeks later, Charlotte called after returning from her honeymoon. Coffee? Just us. I want to hear about your work. Really hear it. Everything I should have asked years ago. We met at a cafe. For 2 hours she asked about my career, my role, Catherine. She listened without interrupting. I'm so proud of you, she said finally. And sorry it took public humiliation for me to realize what I should have known. We can't change the past. But we can change what happens next. I'd like that. Vera. Thank you for not giving up on me. I squeezed her hand. You're my sister. That doesn't change. 6 months later, I received an invitation to Preston's parents' charity gala. The program listed me as keynote speaker. Ambassador Vera Chin, Senior Cultural Ambassador and International Relations Expert. Charlotte called immediately. Please say you'll do it. His parents are making amends. And their social circle needs to hear from someone who does important work. The speech went well. Afterward, Preston's mother approached with genuine humility. Thank you for coming. And for not holding our misjudgment against us permanently. We were embarrassingly wrong. You were. But you're learning. Charlotte talks about your work constantly now. I think she's your unofficial publicity agent. I smiled. She's making up for lost time. Aren't we all? I drove home that night through the city where I'd built my career quietly, measuring success by diplomatic relationships rather than recognition. Charlotte could see me clearly now. My career was no longer vague but something she described accurately and proudly. Sometimes when families made mistakes, a princess crashing a wedding was exactly what it took to set things right. The kitchen hiding spot had become a diplomatic incident. And I'd emerged stronger, more visible, and finally seen by the people who should have been looking all along. The charity gala became a turning point. After my keynote speech about international cooperation and cultural diplomacy, several of Preston's parents' friends approached me with genuine interest. These were people who'd been at the wedding, who'd witnessed the kitchen incident, who'd seen the viral videos. We had no idea the work you do was so impactful, one woman said. Charlotte must be so proud. She is now, I said simply. The truth was Charlotte had transformed. She'd started following international news, asking about my projects, even attending a public lecture I gave at the university. She introduced me to her friends with my full title now, explaining my work with pride instead of vague dismissiveness. Preston had changed too. He'd confided that the wedding incident had been humbling, watching his parents' social circle turn on them for dismissing someone of actual importance while they'd been busy worrying about appearances. It made me realize how superficial our world is, he'd said. You're out there negotiating treaties and we're worried about whether the champagne is the right vintage. But the biggest change was in how Charlotte saw success itself. She'd spent her whole life measuring worth by social status, designer labels and society page mentions. Now she understood that real influence happened in diplomatic chambers, in international agreements, in work that changed lives even if it never made the tabloids. Except when princesses crash weddings, she joked recently. Then it makes all the tabloids. We'd laughed together, the tension between us finally dissolved. As I left the gala that evening, my phone buzzed with a message from Catherine. Heard your speech was excellent. Well done, my friend. Though I still think my entrance at the wedding was more dramatic. I smiled and typed back, nothing will ever top that entrance, Your Highness. Her reply came immediately, good. That's exactly how it should be remembered. The kitchen incident had become legend. A story about assumptions, respect, and the cost of judging people by appearance rather than accomplishment. And every time someone told it, they learned the same lesson Charlotte had. Never underestimate the quiet person in the simple dress. They might just have a princess on speed dial.